Hey guys, Martin here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so a lot of people have been asking, since there hasn't really been a lot of news going on lately for Global. We did finally get some stuff in the news today about new stages of events coming out. But a lot of people have been asking, when is part 2 of the celebration starting? Or more specifically, when do the part 2 banners come out? Because it seems like there's a bit of a divide in the community of the distinction between part 2 of the celebration, because obviously part 2 officially starts at a certain time, right? In terms of like in game, like there will be part 2, we'll get new sets of missions, all this other new stuff, and then there's the part 2 banners releasing. Now sometimes these are on the same day, and they are just the same thing. But with the way Global has rescheduled some of the celebration content the way Global always does, we talked about this in the video yesterday, they're always not necessarily the same thing. So the focus of the video for today is going to be more so on when can we expect the part 2 banners to come out, Beast Gohan and the Carnival banner for LR Gamma 1 and 2. So I brought up the JP information here so we can see how the schedule played out on JP. We already know it's slightly different on Global in terms of like number of days from the start of the celebration to when certain content comes out, because we know that the banners came out on the 29th of January. And then as we scroll down, we go into February. Then we had the EZA for the Broly trio. This was 1 week after the banners released, which if Global had followed that exact same thing and it was 1 week later, the EZA should have been out today. So obviously they are going at a slightly different pace. If we look at the 8th anniversary, this is the video that the events and stuff that we went through the other day. On Global, when we got the previous anniversary, the first EZAs of the anniversary dropped like 5 days after the banners. So still in roughly like that 5 to 7 day period. That has been slightly different on Global this time around. So what we are looking at the moment when it comes to the part 2, we got events in the news today. We're kind of lining up with last year. So because we got those news updates today, which is Tuesday the 16th, or at least that's when they came out for me, right? Early morning. If you're in Pacific US, it will be very late on Monday, the 15th still. But because the news updates were here today, they always appear in the game 48 hours before the events actually come out. So we are actually going to be in line with last year for the 18th of July. So it'll be Thursday morning for me, 7:30 AM on the 18th of July. And that's basically where we get, funnily enough, this update here. So we've already gotten this movie battles thing that came out on Monday. And then we have these events here. So the extra stages on the Beerus event so that he can become an LR. Extra stages on the Frieza event so he can become a TUR. More stages for the Blue Zone, or the Super Magnificent Battle as it's called on Global. This will be, I think it's Trunks, Blue Evolution, Vegeta and UI Goku. And then towards the end of the anniversary, we get the Gogeta and Beast Gohan stages. A new stage for this special event that was just the one stage versus Jiren. And then obviously, this did include on JP when this happened. The same day, this is when the EZA for the physical Blue Kaioken Goku and Blue Evolution Vegeta came out, as well as a burst mode, and then also the EZA for the free-to-play Gogeta. So one of the things that's funny is we should be getting a data download tomorrow, because currently, as of right now on Global, we have no idea when these EZAs are coming out. And we have no idea when this EZA is coming out. So what will be interesting, and what I think we could see in the data download tomorrow, is that on Thursday the 18th, when all of these stages release, we could actually be getting the Blue Kaioken Goku and Vegeta EZA and the Broly Trio EZA at the same time on the same day. Because then that would still line up with when all this stuff released on JP. And then you can see the part 2 banners came out on the 16th of February, which is 5 days after all of this stuff came out. So obviously if this stuff is all coming out on the 18th, 5 days later would be Tuesday the 23rd, which would make the banners exactly 2 weeks after the banners in part 1. However, as I say, that means we only have a week from today until the banners would come out, and they've still got to drop all of this stuff. Now we know a lot of it's coming out on Thursday. That means that these EZAs either have to drop on Thursday, or they're going to be coming Friday or the Monday of next week. Now, I think it's all going to drop on the same day. Like I say, we'll get a data download tomorrow, which will show all of that info. So you can see here, if the banners came out on the 16th of February, so that is 18 days after the anniversary like started, or at least when the banners came out. Now, if we use that as a marker, 18 days after the banners came out for global would take us up to the 23rd would be 2 weeks. And then that would be Friday the 26th in the morning, would be exactly 18 days. So there's 2 dates already based on the content release. The 23rd, which is exactly 2 weeks after the banners came out, the part 1 banners. Or we have, that's based on the number of days since this content that we know is coming, and then when the banners came out. If we base it on how many days passed between the part 1 and part 2 banners on JP, that would put the date somewhere around Friday the 26th. But if we take a look again back at the 8th anniversary, the banners actually dropped on the 7th. There was no delay like there was this year. And then the part 2 banners came out on the 25th. So that's what? 14, 16, 17 days later? No, it is 18 days. Just like the JP 18 days between part 1 and part 2. So again, that would put 18 days would be Friday the 26th. So far, we're looking at Friday the 26th based on when these came out. Now, the banners were delayed because of the start date of the anniversary, and then when they dropped the banners, they didn't want to drop them on the 7th, I guess because it's a Sunday. So there's one way to narrow down the days a little bit easier, which to be honest is probably the most specific way that we can narrow these down, right? And that is if we take a look at the actual celebration info that's in the news right now. Of course, you can check it, it's all in your own local times, right, for all the events of the anniversary. The most important thing that seems to always guide when these things happen is the sales. I've talked about this before in the past when we've done videos and stuff. Dokkan doesn't like to have an extended period where there are no sales active. So what will normally happen, now this is obviously all showing in like UK time, but these sales from part 1 last until Thursday the 25th at almost 7 AM, right, 6:59 AM. What usually happens is these end at 6:59 because then 31 minutes later at 7:30, new sales will begin. And that's because that's when the part 2 banners will drop. So unless they drop early, they could even be at 7 and there could only be a 1 minute gap. Usually it's 31. But that puts the date at Thursday the 25th. So that is one day slightly earlier based on the number that we picked out before, Friday the 26th. That was based on, as we said, number of days between the release of the part 1 and part 2 banners on JP, as well as the number of days between the part 1 and part 2 banners for the 8th anniversary on global. Both of those were 18 days. So 18 days would take us up to the 26th. However, all of the sales end on the morning of the 25th. So usually this is the most ironclad way of determining when new banners are going to come out, because as I've already said, Dokkan don't like to have no sales available. If these sales for part 1 ended on Thursday morning, they wouldn't then release the banners on Friday morning and have over 24-hour period in the game where no sales are available. Because obviously they do want to, if possible, snag those last minute customers that maybe get paid like on the 25th and can grab those sales right before the other ones reset. Because when the part 2 sales start, obviously all the part 1 ones are gone. So if you haven't picked them up, that's it, right? Like if you had 3 of the 93 stone packs available and they decide to add in another 10 for part 2, you don't have 13 available, you only have 10. So if you're going to buy any of the sale packs, you obviously need to do that before they reset. But that's why they don't like to have any periods of time where no sales are active, because obviously someone might want to come in at the last minute and buy some of those smaller packs. And then when the sales reset, buy the smaller packs again, because they don't usually buy like the more expensive packs or something, right? So they want the sales to be available as much as possible. So that now puts us at Thursday the 25th. And if we're going by the normal global release time, it would be at 7:30 AM, which is the normal time banners and events come out. Now, the only thing that could throw that off slightly is the actual part 1 banners themselves came out early, right? They came out at like 6 a.m. UK time, which is an hour and a half before banners usually come out. Now, here, that's going to be not the case because the old sales would still be active then. So they could drop at 7, which would be 1 minute after the sales, and then new sales would kick in. Or they will just drop at the normal time of 7:30. I don't see any reason why they would be later than the usual time. So, as we said, we've narrowed down a couple of possibilities based on certain factors. Based on the distance between the stages that we know are coming and the part 2 banners on JP, that would put the date at Tuesday the 23rd. Based on 18 days after the part 1 banners, which is how it worked on JP and how it worked on the 8th anniversary on Global, that would be Friday the 26th. However, based on the sales resetting, we have the now date and time of Thursday the 25th at 7:30 a.m. UK time, which I believe is like 11:30 p.m. Pacific time on the Wednesday the 24th technically. So whilst it could be any of those 3 days, this is usually, as I said before, the most surefire way to determine when a new banner is going to drop. So in order to answer the actual proper question of the video, when will the part 2 banners come out? As far as I can tell, it should be Thursday the 25th, early in the morning, or like I said, very late in the evening, Wednesday the 24th, if you're in Pacific time. Now, we should get the data download tomorrow, which will confirm the release dates for the Easy Ace for the Broly Trio and the Blue Kaioken Goku and Blue Evolution Vegeta, and they may have the part 2 banner times in, but obviously, as we know, for the Gogeta and the Broly stuff, they didn't add that in until like the day or so before. So we might be having to wait for those, but as soon as they appear in the data download, that will give us the exact time and date. So of course I will update you guys and let you know once we know 100%. So I did want to show very quickly just the banners here, which obviously we'll talk about more before they come out. I will do a summon or skip video for part 2 just before the banners are about to drop. But the Beast Gohan banner, obviously this is the big one that a lot of people are saving for. Beast Gohan, the best unit in the game. Krillin and 18, the side banner unit, are pretty decent. Blue Boys from the Worldwide, they get a lot of hate. They can absolutely lose you runs if you don't get the fusion condition, but if you do and you get Vegito Blue out, he can still be pretty good even in the current meta. The GT Duo is still very usable. Super Saiyan Duo not so good. The LR Super Saiyan 4's obviously not so good, but will be easy A-ing at the next anniversary. And then of course UI Goku and Blue Evolution Vegeta are on this banner, and they get easy A's later in the anniversary and become like, you know, easy. Well, they're probably higher than that, but top 10 LRs easily after they get their easy A's. So a lot would say, or at least on JP, we're saying top 5 by the end of the anniversary. So I'll leave it up to you guys to let me know what you think. The Go Bros and Physical Piccolo are kind of just the old units that you really don't want to pull on here, but very, very good. And then the GAMMAS banner, considering it's a carnival banner, and I know how people feel about carnival banners and yellow coin banners in general, but this banner lineup is actually pretty good. The GAMMAS are really good. Future Gohan is still really good. The AGL Kai Goku can still be good. Birdcoo's aged out a little bit, but in some circumstances he can still be decent. Bulma is still good. Int Zamasu's a bit outdated. Int Rose kind of is, but can still be usable. And then like these 3 SSRs are just kind of they're just kind of there. But like some of these LRs are still very good, especially Future Gohan, Kai Goku, Bulma. So this lineup very, very good. Although of course I know a lot of people will be focusing solely on getting Beast Gohan. So as I said, these banners should be dropping on Thursday the 25th at 7:30 a.m. UK time. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Is that when you think the banners are going to drop? Do you think there'll be some other wild card? What do you think we will find out from the data download tomorrow? Let me know all of your thoughts on this down below in the comment section. I won't be doing an early stream tomorrow. Tomorrow will be my day off, but I will be making a video about the data download once we get that information. I will of course be making team building guides for the Easy A's as well, because when we know when those are going to come out, I'll make sure those are out on the channel a little bit before the events come out, and then we will be live on Thursday morning for the early stream to do all of this new content that's coming out, all the new stages and all of that stuff. So let me know all your thoughts. How are you enjoying the anniversary so far? I know a lot of people out there are in that mode where they're just very much waiting for these part 2 banners to come out. So let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.